Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurave Sarvalokanam Vishaje Bhavaroginam Nidhaye Sarvavidyanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat-padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Sakshat Kritam Dayanandam Paramarthasvarupinam Tattvajnana Prashastaram Pranatosmi Param Padam Om Sakana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today is our 11th class to the introduction to Vedanta. The topic in the introduction to Vedanta, after Purushartha, we discussed on Purushartha in detail. The next topic is Pramanam. Pramanam means means of knowledge. We know that Pramanam means means of knowledge. It's an important word. Pramana is akarantaha napumsakalingaha. Pramana shabdaha. We will be learning in Sanskritam. We learnt also. Those who attended other Sanskritam class, they know. Those are the basic level, they will be learning. Karantaha, napumsakalingaha, pramana shabdaha, pramanam, pramane, pramanani. You all know that those who are attending the basic Sanskritam class, akarantaha, pullingaha, rama shabdaha, ramaha, ramo, ramaha, we are learning that. Similarly, pramana is napumsakalinga, it's a neutral gender word. Singular is pramanam. Pramanam, pramane. Bhivachanam is pramane. Pramanani, bhagavachanam. So, the word prama means knowledge. Ma means to measure. Ma means to measure. Ma also means to know. Prama is jnanam, knowledge. And when you say Pramanam, means the means of knowledge. The word Pramanam is derived from the dhatu, the verbal root ma, by adding the prefix pra and a suffix is added, a pratyaya, what we call pratyaya in Sanskritam is added in the sense of karane vyutpatti. You get pramanam. Pramana is a pratipadikam and the word is pramanam. Means means of knowledge. Prakarshena miyate, nyayate, anena iti pramanam. That by which something is well known. Prakarshena miyate, well known, well measured. Measuring is knowing. Avagamyate. So that is called pramanam. And pramanam is the means of knowledge without which we won't be able to gain knowledge. So everything is centered on knowledge, jnanam. All the operations, all the vyavahara activities, what we do in the world is all based on knowledge. Everything is knowledge based. There is no operation, there is no activity involved without knowledge. Any activity you do, before what you do, you try to gain the knowledge about the thing. Jnanam precedes first. And for that, gaining that jnanam, you need means of knowledge. It is called the pramanam. And what about the knowledge, the validity of the knowledge? That depends on the pramanam, what you operate, with what you operate. We cannot accept any knowledge. There are many wrong knowledges. There is no plural word in English for knowledge. We have many wrong knowledge about many things. Non-understanding. Because we operate a different means of knowledge and come to different conclusions. Therefore, our understanding is not correct. So therefore, whether it is scientific or whether it is material activity, the vyavahara activity, everything is based on knowledge. Knowledge is an important thing. That is why we say knowledge is wealth. And how do you gain that wealth? By operating the means of knowledge, and that to the right means of knowledge. For the right knowledge, you have to operate the right means of knowledge. And when do you call a knowledge is right or a valid knowledge? When the means of knowledge, when the correct means of knowledge are used, the knowledge has to be right. Because we have to understand the nature of knowledge. See, the knowledge of a thing, a thing is nothing but the nature of the thing. It's not different from the nature of the thing. For example, you smell a fragrant flower. A fragrance is smelled by you. A fragrance. A fragrant flower is smelled by you. And that knowledge, the fragrance, the flower is fragrant. That is inseparable from the object. The knowledge of the object gained by you is not different from the nature of the object. And for the correct knowledge, you have to use the correct means of knowledge. Once you use the correct means of knowledge, there is there is no there is you cannot miss the knowledge. There is no way by which you miss the knowledge. The knowledge has to happen. It doesn't depend on your free will. Free will has no place in gaining knowledge. Important thing to be understood. Free will has role only when you decide to undertake an action. When you decide to undertake an action, or when you decide not to undertake an action, or you want to do the activity in a different way than the usual way, there only free will is involved. Free will is with regard to the action, whereas with regard to knowledge, there is no intervention of free will. Free will has no role in gaining knowledge, in gaining or in altering the knowledge of an object. When a flower is smelled, it's a knowledge. You know the flower is fragrant. It's a knowledge. Do you have any free will to change the knowledge gained by operating the means of knowledge, that is your nose? Your nose just perceives, just smells the flower, the fragrance of the flower. You don't have free will to change the experience, change the knowledge. Free will has no role. The means of knowledge are the faithful reporters. They are the faithful reporters of the knowledge of the object. They just report as they are. But it is you who play with this, play with the knowledge and can misunderstand. But the sense organs are the faithful reporters. You see the blue sky. Yes, sky is blue. The knowledge of the sky, the knowledge of that the sky is blue is gained by just opening your eyes. The prayatnam, the effort is involved is only in opening the eyes. After that, knowledge has to take place. The knowledge that the sky is blue has to take place. You don't have any role to play in it. You cannot choose to see the sky as green color. Impossible. You cannot choose to see the sky in other possible ways. The sky is blue. If it is blue for me by operating the eyes, it should be blue for you when you operate the eyes. You cannot choose to operate your nose to know the color of the sky. For gaining the color or the shape of an object or a thing, you have to use eyes. It is universal. The Pramanam is common for everyone. That is why the transaction is also possible. If the knowledge is gained by you using different Pramanams, then there will be problem. There will be problem between you and me. I gain the knowledge through a means of knowledge. You gain the knowledge through another means of knowledge. Now, how are we going to our knowledge going to coincide? How are we going to decide which knowledge is valid? So there will be a clash. There will be a clash in understanding the nature of the object. Thank God that doesn't happen. Because the knowledge, what we gain by operating the senses, it is direct and it is as true as the nature of the object. Human free will has no role to play in it. Therefore, we need to remember this. With regard to action only, we have free will. And that too, free will is another big topic. That too, free will is not totally free. A limited free will. Whereas with regard to knowledge, there is no free will involved. This is an important thing to be understood. With regard to action, Kriya Shakti. Kriya Shakti is the power to act. The power to act, it before we decide to do action, we have the power to act. Kriya Shakti is there. And the Kriya Shakti, as I told before, it is preceded by the power to desire, the privilege to desire, Icha Shakti. And the Icha Shakti is preceded by Jnana Shakti, the desire to know. So, for even for action, it is preceded by the desire for knowledge, Jnana Shakti. So, Jnana Shakti, the Jnanam is a base for everything. Jnanam is a base for all the human activities. Human activities, they are based on knowledge. Unless you know, unless you have the knowledge of a thing or an object, you will not do you will not do activity in gaining it, or disowning it, or whatever it may be. The knowledge of the thing is important. Therefore, since the knowledge is important, therefore the means of knowledge is also equally important. The means of knowledge is as important as the knowledge itself. And the knowledge of an object is as true as the nature of the object. So these are the things to be understood very clearly. And we have the five sense organs. Bhagavan has given five sense organs. It is all given. It is given to you and you operate. Eyes are given. Nose is given. Ears are given. Tongue is given. And the touch, skin is given. All these are given. With this given sense organs are also one of the means of knowledge. In fact, it is the important means of knowledge. With the given means of knowledge, we operate, and therefore the transaction in the world is possible. With the eyes, the knowledge what you gain is called Varna Jnanam, the knowledge of Varna, color or a form. Varna Jnanam. With the eyes, it is Varna Jnanam. With the ears, it is Shabda Jnanam. Shabda is sound. Shabda Jnanam. And with the skin, it is Sparsha. Sparsha Jnanam. Touch. With the nose, it is Ghrana Jnanam. With the tongue, it is Rasa Jnanam. All these are Jnanam. And operating the means of knowledge, we gain Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Gandha is smell, Gandha Jnana. We gain this knowledge. The knowledge of a thing, but it could be the color, it could be the sound, it could be it could be based on the touch. It is hot or cold, that jnanam, and the smell and the taste. These are the five things. These are the five things any object in the world has. The five properties. See, the object what we perceive through the means of knowledge, really what we perceive through the means of knowledge is the attributes of the object. We cannot know the object as such. It's not possible. What we know by operating these sense organs is the attributes of the object. By the attributes, we know what the object is. What we can know only are the attributes. The object as such cannot be known. What the object is, that cannot be known. Only based on these five attributes, we gain the knowledge of an object. So any object in the world is nothing but the combination, or maybe one or more, or the combination of these properties. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Could be any one or more than one, or combination of this are the attributes of the objects of the world. We have these five sense organs and the five sense objects, that Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, they are in the external world. So with these five sense organs, we perceive the five sense objects outside of us and we know the object. We touch the hot liquid, say hot water. By touch, we know the water is hot. But what is the nature of water? Is it always hot? Here now we see the vapor, and you see, you by touch you feel the heat of the water, hotness of the water. So therefore you know it is water is hot. But the water, the knowledge of the water as such cannot be known, because the water is it is viscous. It has certain viscosity. It has other properties. Based on those properties, we know this is water. But what water as such cannot be known. We know the properties of water. We know we know the properties of the water from, and if a thing has these properties, then we conclude that is water. So any object you take, that is known by the attributes of the object. Minus those attributes, the water cannot exist. Therefore, the attributes of the object are known by the sense organs and the knowledge is gained. The whole prapancha consisting of objects are nothing but these combinations of these attributes, and Bhagavan has given the sense organs to understand, to know these attributes, and therefore we know the object. This is how the knowledge of a thing is gained, by operating the sense organs. And the primary means of knowledge, what we enjoy, is the pratyaksha, pramanam, the sense organs. Sense organs are the primary means of knowledge. Prati aksha. Aksha is perception. Pratyaksha is direct perception, direct knowledge. The knowledge of a thing is gained directly. There is no time gap involved. There is no other means of knowledge involved. It is gained directly. Whether it is sound or touch or smell or form or color or taste, it is gained immediately, directly. That is called pratyaksham. And we know Bhagavan has given five sense organs, and each sense organ has its own sphere of knowledge. And there is no overlapping of the function of one sense organ with the other. It is very distinct, clear. Therefore, there is no problem. There is no contradicting knowledge. There is no contradiction when we operate the means of knowledge, the sense organs. We are talking about pratyaksham, therefore sense organs. There is no contradiction in knowledge. There is no contradiction in knowledge presented by the sense organs. Sense organs present the knowledge, and in that knowledge there is no contradiction, because each sense organ has its own sphere of the knowledge, has its own scope. And if you remember, we discussed important 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 condition for a pramanam to be valid. 4 or 5 points I gave. For a pramanam to be a valid pramanam, those 5 points has to be fulfilled by the means of knowledge. Number one, a pramanam must have a subject matter. It must have the subject matter. And thus, the scope of one pramanam should not be covered by the other pramanam. That is called in Sanskritam anadigatatvam. Anadigatatvam. One pramanam should not be covered. The scope of one pramanam should not be covered by the other pramanam. Anadigatatvam. And the third one, a pramanam must not prove or disprove the other pramanam. Abhaditatvam. Important condition. And of course, the pramanam must give a clear knowledge. There should not be any ambiguity. If the pramanam doesn't give you the clear knowledge, then it cannot be considered a valid pramanam. If the knowledge is not clear, what will you do? You will try to operate with other means of knowledge. Therefore, that cannot be the means of knowledge, valid means of knowledge. Therefore, for a pramanam to be a valid pramanam, it must give a clear knowledge, and the knowledge must be unambiguous. This is another important condition. If you can't know the color of an object, you cannot use your nose to know it. The knowledge gained by operating the eyes is very clear, and nose has no role to play. Nose cannot improve upon the knowledge gained by the eyes. So the knowledge is very clear. There is no ambiguity, and also other means of knowledge has no scope with regard to the knowledge gained through eyes. Therefore, valid. Eyes are valid in the case of perception, in perception of color or form of object. Similarly, nose is valid in case of smelling or knowing the smell, knowing the fragrance, and understanding the smell. Then a pramanam must generate some knowledge. That's important. It must be a generator of knowledge. Jnana janakatva. See, every pramanam has its utility in the form of giving you certain knowledge. So therefore, these are the conditions. These are the conditions a pramanam must fulfill. And under pratyaksham, we have 5 sense organs. Therefore, these 5 sense organs are the basic, the primary means of knowledge. All the other pramanams are based on this pratyaksham only. But we'll see later. Though they are all based on the pratyaksha pramanam, which is a moola pramanam, how they are different from pratyaksham. See, any knowledge which is gained can be gained only through the sense organs. Without sense organs, no knowledge is possible. Therefore, any knowledge is it's all only based on pratyaksham. And from pratyaksham, from the from the knowledge gained through the sense organs, you are going to further gain or further validate the knowledge or further gain the knowledge by operating the other means of knowledge. So that one by one we will see and how they are different from each other and what are their scope. Everything we'll see in detail one by one. Among these six pramanams, pratyaksham, anumanam, arthapatti, upamanam, anupalabdhi, and shabdam, these five means of knowledge, the first five means of knowledge, they are called Paurusheya Pancha Pramanani. Paurusheya means they are available for human beings. They are at the disposal of human beings. Human beings have access to this five pramanam. Therefore, they are called Paurusheya Pramanam. Paurusheya Pancha Pramanani. Pratyaksham, Anumanam, Upamanam, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi. And Shabdam I excluded because Shabdam is going to come in Apaurusheya Pramanam with regard to Veda. It's a very big topic. We will discuss it later. Even Shabda with regard to Lokika also, it can be considered as the Paurusheya Pramanam. That we will discuss later. The classification is just to give you that Shabda Pramanam with regard to Veda is going to be a Apaurusheya Pramanam. Therefore, I excluded Shabda now. Now, we have seen Pratyaksha Pramanani, Panchadha Bhavanti. It's a five-fold. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Iti. We have seen this. And we have seen that the Prapancha, which consists of Panchabhuta, the five elements, and these five elements can be objectified. These five elements, see, Panchabhutas are there, and the five elements combined together becomes five elementals, and these can be objectified by Pancha Indriyani, sense organs, five sense organs, and therefore they are called Pratyaksha Pramanam. And this Pratyaksha Pramanam is the Mula Pramanam. This much we saw. Now further to continue the discussion, we saw so far Indriya Pratyaksham. Indriya Pratyaksham. That is, Pratyaksham is direct knowledge. Indriya Pratyaksham is direct perception with the sense organs. Of course, direct perception is possible only through sense organs. Sensory perception. Let us translate the word Indriya Pratyaksham as sensory perception. So this is one Pratyaksham, one category. Under Pratyaksha Pramanam, we have Indriya Pratyaksham. About that we discussed so far and also in the previous classes. Indriya Pratyaksham. Another one is Sakshi Pratyaksham. Another one is Sakshi Pratyaksham. So the perception can be of two types. Pratyaksham can be of two types. Indriya Pratyaksham, Sakshi Pratyaksham. Indriya Pratyaksham is sensory perception. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Vishayaha, Indriya Pratyakshaha. So that five sense organs through which we gain the knowledge of the sense objects of these five properties, they are called Indriya Pratyaksha. And this sensory perception, it is also called external perception. Bhagya Pratyaksha. Bhagya Jnanam. See, the knowledge of the external things gained through sense organs. So the objects are outside. So the sensory perceptions are generally the external. The objects are external and you gain the knowledge of the object. Therefore, external perception. Okay. And the perception, which gives us the knowledge without the support of sense organs, without the support of sense organs, but with the presence of Sakshi, the witness, it is called Sakshi Pratyaksha. Indriya Pratyaksha is with the support of sense organs backed up by the mind. Indriya Pratyaksha, that is the sensory perception, is with the support of sense organs backed up by the mind. That is Indriya Pratyaksham, sensory perception. And the Sakshi Pratyaksham is without the support of sense organs. Sense organs support is not there. But the Sakshi, the witness is there. The witness of all the perceptions is there. That is called Sakshi Pratyaksham. We can translate Sakshi Pratyaksham as witness perception. One is sensory perception, other one is witness perception. And the examples for Sakshi Pratyaksham, anger is there. You feel hungry. How do you know that you are hungry? You use your eyes, senses, sense organ eyes you do use to know that you are hungry? Or do you use ear? Do you use nose or skin or, or a tongue to know that you are hungry? It is known to you. You know that you are hungry. You are hungry. The perception of being hungry is known to you. You are there. You are as the witness, as a Sakshi is there to know that you are hungry. And there is no involvement of or the support of sense organs. That is called witness perception, Sakshi Pratyaksham. Similarly, anger. You are angry. How do you know that you are angry? You know it. The witness know that. You know that you are angry. And the pain or the pleasure, what you feel in your mind, which involve no support of, no involvement of sense organs. Pain, pleasure, love, hate, thirst, desire, even the icha, the desire, all the emotions, even the knowledge as well as the ignorance of objects. Suppose if I ask you, do you know French? Do you know French? What sense organs you operate? There is no involvement of sense organs in knowing that, in knowing that you know French or you don't know French. You know, as Sakshi, as a witness, you know whether you know it or not. That is Indriya Pratyaksha. Therefore, with regard to knowledge or with regard to ignorance, if you don't know French, that ignorance of that you don't know, it is known to you. That is Indriya Pratyaksha, that is Sakshi Pratyaksha. Similarly, all the feelings, all the ideas, what you have in your mind, your imaginations, your visualizations, even the time and all the emotions, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, all good as well as the bad emotions. For everything, for every perception of this, you are there. You are there as a witness of all the emotions, all the feelings, which involve no sense organs, which doesn't require the support of sense organs. This is Sakshi Pratyaksham, witness perception. And witness perception is called internal perception. This I classify. Okay, I just classify the Pratyaksham as external perception, that is operating the sense organs, sensory perception, that is called external perception, and Indriya and Sakshi Pratyaksham, that is internal perception. Just for our understanding, I use this word, internal perception, external perception. Internal perception is Sakshi Pratyaksha, external perception is Indriya Pratyaksha. In Indriya Pratyaksha, Indriyas are involved, sense organs are involved. In Sakshi Pratyaksha, only Sakshi is there. You as a witness is present. Therefore, Sakshi Pratyaksha. Therefore, Pratyaksham, by Pratyaksha Pramanam, we gain direct knowledge. The knowledge gained is direct. This is with regard to Pratyaksham, and Pratyaksha Pramanam considered to be the Mula Pramanam. They are the Mula Pramanam. Whether it is Indriya or Sakshi, that is the Mula Pramanam. And based on the knowledge gained Pratyaksha, now the other Pramanams, they will interpret the knowledge. They will interpret the knowledge gained through Pratyaksham further, and based on the interpretation, the Pramanams are further classified as Anumanam, Arthapati, Upamanam, Anupalabdhi, Shabdam, Iti. Okay, now having discussed about Pratyaksham in detail so far, in the last one class, full class we spent on Pratyaksham, and today also. Now let us move on to the next Pramanam, which is Anumana Pramanam. Anumana. Here also Ma is it. Ma is knowledge. Anumana. Anumana is knowing after. The word Anumanam means knowing after. That is the means by which the knowledge of something is inferred. It is inferred. Inferred through reasoning, logical reasoning. It is called Anumanam. The sense organs, it present the data to the pramata, the knower. The sense organs, they just faithfully report the data to the knower. And up to the knower now, he has to use his reasoning capacity, the logical thinking capacity to further know, to gain the knowledge, to know something, to gain the knowledge firmly. And this knowledge, what we gain through Anumana, unlike Pratyaksha, it is not direct, it is indirect knowledge. That is why it is called inference. You infer from the data presented to you by the sense organs. The data presented by sense organs is direct. And based on the data provided by the sense organs, you infer the knowledge of a thing. That is not directly perceived, but you infer from the data. For gaining the data, you have to use sense organs. There is no other choice, because Bhagavan has given only sense organs to know. So, for gaining the data, to begin with, we need to have some data. So, for gaining data, you need to use sense organs. And based on the data, now you can use your logical thinking capacity to infer the knowledge of a thing. That is called Anumana. That is why it is called knowing after. Knowing after. After gaining the data provided by the sense organs, now you work on that to gain further knowledge about the object. That is called Anumana Pramanam. I will explain with an example. You will understand what it is very clearly. You see a smoke on the top of the mountain. You see a cloud of smoke on the top of the mountain. What do you see? You see the smoke. And what What means of knowledge you use? You use Indriya Pratyaksham, you use eyes. So eyes, the sense organ eye provides the data that there is a cloud of smoke on the top of the mountain. So the eyes present the data to you. You see only the smoke. Now, seeing the smoke, what do you understand? What knowledge you gain? The first thing is you see the smoke. Smoke knowledge you gain. That is provided by the eyes. Good, pratyaksha. And now, from the smoke, you infer that there could be fire on the mountain. There could be, not there could be, there is a fire on the mountain. Do you see the fire? Do you see the fire, the fire that the orange, the red color glowing fire on the mountain? No, you don't see that directly. You see only the smoke. From the smoke, you infer there is fire on the mountain. The mountain is on the fire. You have not seen the fire directly, but you say the mountain is on the fire. Parvataha Vanniman. Parvataha Vanniman. Mountain as fire. Why? Dhumavatvat. Because Dhuma. Because Dhuma smoke is there. Dhumavatvat. Parvataha Vanniman. Because the smoke is there, therefore the mountain is on fire. Seeing the smoke, you infer the mountain is on the fire. Seeing the smoke, it is pratyaksha. And the mountain is on the fire. You conclude that there is fire. That is anumana. Based on the data provided by the sense organ, eye sense organ, eyes. Though you don't see the fire directly, but you infer based on the smoke. The presence of cloud confirms the presence of fire. How do you conclude? What is the base for this conclusion? Why don't you conclude that the mountain must have water? There must be rain. There must be raining in the mountain. Why don't you conclude that there must be raining? Why do you conclude that there must be fire? What is the connection between the smoke and the fire? Very simple. We know that wherever the fire is, there will be smoke. Wherever fire is, there will be smoke. That knowledge already we have. It's a fact. We know that. We have seen in the kitchen in those days. Nowadays, we use all modern electrical equipments or gas. So, therefore, you don't see smoke. But in those days, they use wood for cooking, firewood for cooking. So, when you use firewood, you will see the whole kitchen will be full of smoke. Smoke will be there. Why? Because of the fire is there. Firewood is there, and it is fire is there. Therefore, you know the smoke is there. So, from in the kitchen, I have seen smoke is there. Why? Because fire is there. Fire is there, therefore smoke is there. In the kitchen, I have seen that knowledge I have. That knowledge I have previously. Now I see the smoke on the top of the mountain. Therefore, I connect the knowledge what I gained in the kitchen. That knowledge I connect with the knowledge with the perception what I see on the top of the mountain, that is smoke. Therefore, I conclude the mountain must be on the fire. So the conclusion that the mountain is on fire is based on my knowledge. What knowledge? Yatra yatra vannihi tatra tatra dhumaha. Wherever the fire is, there will be smoke. The presence of fire and the subsequent presence of smoke, that knowledge I have. The cause and effect. One is the fire is the cause and the effect is the smoke. That knowledge already I have that knowledge. I saw that in the kitchen. I'm seeing that in the kitchen every day. That knowledge already I have. Now, backed up by that knowledge, now I come to the conclusion the mountain must be on fire because I see the smoke. Though I don't see the smoke directly, my conclusion based on the previous knowledge, what I gained, by the knowledge what I gained, now I do infer, I do inference. That is called anumana. So many things in life we do this anumana, we do this inference. It's an important pramanam. Anumanam is an important pramanam. In fact, many of our transactions, most of our transactions, you will see that anumanam is there. You don't see things directly, but you infer. Many of our transactions in day-to-day life, it is anumanam, not pratyaksham. Pratyaksham, it's only to start with. After that, it is only anumanam and arthapatti. Anumanam and arthapatti, important pramanam, without which we cannot live at all. We use these two every day. Arthapatti is more. Arthapatti is widely used. Without knowing we don't know the name, but we are using it. Now we are doing the namakranam. We are giving the name and try to understand that. We know it's not something new we are learning. Already we know that. Now we are understanding that in a way, classifying the pramanam into different types and understanding that distinctly. Because the knowledge of all the pramanams are required to understand the importance of the Shabda pramanam, the Veda pramanam. Therefore, we are discussing all these pramanams in detail. So now, this anumanam. So anumanam that the mountain is on the fire is based on my previous knowledge. That is what knowledge? Yatra yatra vannihi tatra tatra dhumaha. That knowledge. That knowledge is called Vyapti Jnanam. In Sanskritam, we called it is Vyapti Jnanam. Wherever fire is, there will be smoke. Right? That is Vyapti, invariable concomitance. That relationship between the cause and the effect. The cause is fire and the effect is smoke. So when cause is there, effect has to be there. That is called invariable concomitance. Vyapti Jnanam. Invariable co-presence or concomitance. So based on that, we conclude that Parvataha Vanniman, the mountain as fire. This is called Anumana Pramanam. And a lot more examples can be given. And this is a stock example. When we teach Vedanta, when we talk about the Pramanam, this mountain is on fire. That mountain smoke is the common example is used. A lot of other examples also can be given. Anumanam. You see, you see the dark cloud. You see a dark cloud. And therefore, what you do, you infer that it may rain. It is not raining, it may rain. You infer. Why? Because you have previous experience. Wherever there is a dark cloud, it has rained. That knowledge you have. So therefore, now dark cloud is there. Therefore, you infer. You infer that it may rain. It may rain. Therefore, you take precautionary things. If you have kept the clothes outside for drying, you take it inside. You have not seen the rain. Rain has not started, but you do it in advance. You don't want your clothes to be wet. You keep it inside. And when you go out, you take umbrella. So all the precautionary things. This is all we do it every day. It's a practical thing. So it's all based on this Anumanam and Arthapatti. Important two pramanams. We'll discuss further on these two pramanams in detail. we need to discuss more on these two. Anumanam we need to discuss further, and Arthapati further in detail. We will see. We will stop here and we will discuss the other Pramanams later, the subsequent class. So we'll stop here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanta Shanta Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. धन्यवादः.
धन्यवादः.
धन्यवादः. धन्यवादः.